When you're going through a heavy season, no one talks about the brain fog, the indecision, or the mental heaviness. Being single after 30 years of marriage and also having plenty of challenges at work, yeah, I wasn't in full blown breakdown, but I was in overwhelm sometimes. After a little research, I tried lion's mane as an experiment, and here's what I noticed. Let me set a little bit of the background or context for why I tried lion's mane. And first of all, realize I'm not a doctor and I can't give you medical advice. You need to see your doctor, your healthcare professional for your medical advice. But years ago, I had been on antidepressant before, and I found them kind of to be numbing and would dull my emotions. And I didn't want that during this time in my life where I was resetting after 30 years of marriage, going through grief, going through different expectations, learning more about myself. I also found that I wanted to kind of explore more of how I could grow, how I could manifest more in my life, and how I could kick some of the brain fog I was experiencing, first from being over 50 and also from going through the separation and divorce, and also all the life changes with the moves and having new social groups. I did want to kind of clear myself up a little bit and hopefully experience more mental acuity. I had done research on lion's mane before and realized that a lot of the research says it helps with neuroplasticity, it helps with your ability to cognitively remember things better. Also, there's research that shows that lion's mane does actually help you make new neural connections in the brain. I also had experienced some inconsistent energy. Like I said, being in my 50s, lots of challenges at work, learning new things at work. Sometimes that's a little bit harder when you're in your 50s. Every little bit of edge, yeah, you can take it. I did my research on lion's mane and I had looked at the reviews. I got mine off of Amazon, and initially I started with one dose in the morning. Something I noticed right away pretty quick with that is my dreams were a lot more vivid and memorable and interesting. And I could remember the dreams all day long, and that was kind of cool. Another thing I did notice after maybe about 3 weeks is that I was a little sharper. I was able to hang on to information longer. I was a little wittier. And I'm sure my coworkers, they're like, we don't need you to be wittier. And I was able to hang on to information a little bit better, probably maybe 15 to 30% better, which is noticeable. Then what I did is I went ahead for the instructions and went to 2 pills of lion's mane a day. I took my second one at nighttime, and lots of reports that people take lion's mane and it helps them to rest. It helps them to settle down. I had the opposite effect. Really, I'd probably sleep like 3 or 4 hours and I'd be wide awake for the rest of the night. And, that's no bueno when you got to work and you have responsibilities. I wasn't on that nighttime dose of lion's mane maybe a week, and I said, this ain't for me. So I went back to my just once a day. It seems like in the research, and like I said, you got to talk to your doctor about this stuff, but it seems like in the research that lion's mane may not be a good thing to use if you're using antidepressants or any psychoactive medications or antipsychotics. People that are on those things, they really want to think twice. And this is something that does have a neurological effect on you. I did notice it clearly did help my memory. It clearly did help my focus. It clearly did help my ability to retain information, and it helped my recall. And the fascinating thing was even like childhood memories would pop into my head. Stuff I playmates from grade school that I hadn't thought about for years, and teachers and people's names. And it's just like wires were reconnected in my brain. So that was pretty cool. I didn't have any side effects from the lion's mane. Some people report like stomach upset, diarrhea, a lot of gas and stuff like that. I didn't have any problem with that. And to circle back, what lion's mane didn't do, it didn't fix my life. Okay? It wasn't magic, and it certainly didn't remove the grief. But what it did do is it helped me to settle my mind to where I could think about things a little clearer in my daily walks, in my quiet time, and I was less reactive to stressors, less reactionary, and I was just a more relaxed individual. A lot of the antidepressants can give you these kind of same feelings. Like I said, I had a numbing kind of quality to emotionally numbing quality to antidepressants, so they weren't necessarily for me. I think in a nutshell, what I liked about lion's mane is the lack of numbing as opposed to antidepressants, the lack of side effects, that it's natural, and that it just kind of helped me to recognize and gave me wiggle room to use some tools that I already had, but also the thoughtfulness to develop new tools to cope with my new single life. And as a takeaway, after divorce or a major life hit, sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need therapy. You need a doctor's advice. I needed something to just make a few minor tweaks. And I think the lion's mane helped with that. Something I've noticed over the last few months and years is one minor tweak can help in the long run, and it helped you build momentum, and that's kind of cool. Sometimes there's a little experimentation that we have to do with our routines and our sleep schedules, our diets, and our exercise and movement. And I did that with the lion's mane. For me, it worked out really well, and it helped me to, of course, create some momentum for change in my life. Because as I've said before, movement actually creates energy. This video isn't just for divorced men. I hope it's beneficial to people that are going through a rough patch, maybe in the weeds, or they need something to kind of help them a little bit. Definitely get your medical advice from your doctor. But then again, some people go into their doctor with research on supplements, especially. To wrap this up, I want to say, guys, if you're going through it, try one small change that will help you think clearer and move forward. Yes, if you need professional support, go get it. Get that support you need, because that's strength too, is reaching out for help when you need it.